Dear friends, today my topic is alkynes. We are covering the third part of hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are three types. We are already discussing alkanes, saturated hydrocarbons, then alkenes, unsaturated hydrocarbons with double bonds. Then comes alkynes, which are unsaturated hydrocarbons with triple bonds. These are three different hydrocarbons, and we had discussion on benzene, the characteristics of benzenes, the preparations and reactions and reactivity of benzene. Mainly how reactions and reactive properties of benzene we have discussed. Now coming to alkynes, what are alkynes? Alkynes are hydrocarbons, again unsaturated hydrocarbons. The reason why they are called unsaturated is they are having multiple bonds, that is triple bond. It is the special characteristic of alkynes. It has triple bond at some place. The general formula for alkynes is CnH2n minus 2. So this is the general formula for alkynes. Here we can see this triple bond, and wherever there is a triple bond, the carbon is in sp hybridization. So sp hybridization is the main aspect of the alkynes, and whenever there is sp hybridization, the shape of sp hybrid carbon, uh, that is the bond shape is linear. That is, it is having hybrid orbital onto left side and right side at 180 degrees angle. Acetylene is the best example, which is C2H2. The first alkyne is acetylene, and the second is propane. The common name, IUPAC name is propane. Whenever we call the nomenclature of alkynes, IUPAC method is to use YNE, ine. It is instead of ane we use ine, simply like ethine, propine, butane, and like alkynes, any number of. For example, here it is given like CS3, CH2, C triple bond C, CH3. This is pentyne. Again, we have to mention as per the rule, according to IUPAC rule, we have to mention that ine position of triple bond. Here the triple bond is located at 1, 2, second carbon. So the starting number you have to mention. This is the second one. So 2 pentyne. That is second carbon. We are having triple bond. Another common name for this is ethyl methyl acetylene. That is, wherever there is triple bond, that is treated as acetylene, and whatever the what substituents, the groups, here it is methyl group, it is treated as substituent. Here on the left side it is ethyl group, which is treated as substituent again. So common name can be written as methyl right side and ethyl on right side, or whatever it may be, ethyl and methyl. Ethyl methyl acetylene. That means ethyl is on one side and methyl is on the other side. We need not mention where it is because the number is not necessary, because acetylene is having, because we are already mentioning acetylene. That means C triple bond C, that is the part we are mentioning, and whatever the substituent attached to that carbons, that is given the name as substituent. Here in this particular case, ethyl is one substituent, methyl is another substituent. Therefore, ethyl methyl acetylene. Number is not required here. Whereas if you give the name with the IUPAC nomenclature, we have to mention the number where that triple bond is, because we treat total number of carbons into a common main chain like 2 pentyne. This is another important point we have to observe, that terminal alkynes. Here we can see that terminal alkynes. Terminal alkynes are specific nature, because the only possibility we have alkynes into two categories. One is the alkyne, that is triple bond, can be on the last carbon. When it is on the last carbon, then what happens? We have invariably we have to mention here. We look at this. If you write triple bond on the last carbon, then on one side we have to mention CH. On the left side, this carbon must and should have some group. some alkyl group. For example, it is having ethyl group on the one carbon left side, whereas on right side it is having proton, that is hydrogen. Then only we can call it as terminal. For example, if it is in the middle, then what happens? We write, for example, 1 butane instead of 1 butane. If it is 2 butane, then what happens? The triply bonded carbon is having only methyl and methyl on two sides. So whenever the triple bond is into second carbon or third carbon or some in the middle part, then triply bonded carbon cannot have any hydrogen attached to it. Only the terminal alkynes have hydrogen attached to it. So that is the specialty of a terminal alkyne. This is the special case. Why it is so special? The reason is it is the terminal hydrogen, that is terminal alkyne, which is having whatever the hydrogen to the last carbon. It exhibits acidic character. Why? The reason is the sp hybrid carbon is more electronegative when compared to sp2 and sp3 carbons. Because of 50% s character, 50% p character, it is having highest electronegativity nature uh, when compared to other carbons. So this is the reason why this sp hybrid carbon can attract electron pair towards it, so that the proton, that is the hydrogen here, for example, this is sp hybrid carbon. So this hydrogen which is attached to the sp hybrid carbon is, it can be easily removed. That means it becomes acidic in nature. Of course, it is very weak acid when compared to normal acids. It's very, very weak because it doesn't want to lose this proton as such. But because of sp nature, because of high electronegativity, the electron pair between C and H is attracted towards carbon, so that the hydrogen is removed simply. So that is the reason why this terminal hydrogen behaves as if it is a acidic proton. That's why these alkynes, specifically terminal alkynes, exhibit weak acidic nature. That is the importance of terminal alkynes. This is not possible when the alkane group, that is triple bond, is present in the middle. That is, if it is having the triple bond is in the middle part, then you cannot expect any hydrogen attached to both the carbons. It is possible only when it is in the terminal position. And in terminal position, whatever the proton it is having, that exhibits acidic nature, which is a weak acid. So because of this, we can expect one simple reaction. We will come across the reactivity, then we will explain how it can react with the metals like sodium and potassium. That is the specialty of terminal alkanes. This acidic nature is not possible with alkanes and alkenes. This is possible only with alkynes. What are the physical properties of alkynes? Of course, we cannot have any hydrogen bonding there, very low melting and boiling points. They are almost insoluble in water. We know that most of the organic compounds are insoluble in water. They are almost non-polar because of covalent nature of carbon. And of course, most of the hydrocarbons don't have polarity because all are only hydrogen and carbons. So naturally, electronegativity difference is very less. Therefore, we cannot find any polarity there. Let us take the synthesis of alkynes. How to prepare alkynes? Preparation of alkynes by using simple methods. This is the one important famous method is dehydrohalogenation. Dehydrohalogenation is nothing but removal of hydrogen and halogen, that is HX. So look at here. This is we. The point we have to understand is we need to generate triple bond. From saturated, we have to generate unsaturated molecule with triple bond, not double bond. So the point what we have to understand here is we have to remove two molecules. For example, here if you want to remove HX, then we have to remove two HX because one removal of HX gives one double bond, that is one extra bond, and we need to remove another HX so that we get extra bond, that is total triple bond. So that is the reason why we have to eliminate two HX molecules. But removal of HX molecule one by one it is involving two different bases. HX is acid, as we know. HCl, HBr and HI are acids. So to remove HX we need to use base. Here two bases are used separately, because to remove first HX we need light base like alcoholic potassium hydroxide. This is a well-known reaction. Already we know that in alkenes, alcoholic potassium hydroxide removes HX. This is the first removal of HX, and one removal of HX molecule will give you one double bond. So altogether we get double bond. Alkene is formed, but we have to remove one more HX, this hydrogen and this X. For that purpose, we need more strong base, that is sodamide. Sodamide is used, which eliminates H and X, so that HX is removed, then triple bond is generated. So in this particular dehydrohalogenation reaction, we use vicinal dihalides. Already we know vicinal dihalides are nothing but the halides having, that is alkane having two halides on 1,2 position. They are called vicinal dihalides. 1,2 dihalo compounds are called vicinal dihalides. So the vicinal dihalides are taken, and the reagent is alcoholic potassium hydroxide first, and followed by sodamide. So alcoholic potassium hydroxide removes one HX molecule to give alkene, and further sodamide removes another HX molecule to give alkyne. See here, this is how we can explain the same reaction, that is alcoholic potassium hydroxide is used, and in some cases with the two molecules of alcoholic potassium hydroxide, alkyne is generated, but most of the cases it is alcoholic potassium hydroxide and followed by sodamide. Here, for example, the same preparation method we can understand by using, because in some examples, in some examinations, reactions are not given directly. We have to apply the concept of a particular reaction in a specific examples. For example, here in alkene, this is the alkene starting material, and how to prepare alkene, how to convert alkene into alkyne, how to convert alkene into alkyne. Looks simple, but it's not that simple, because alkene cannot directly be converted into alkyne. It's not that easy. So for that we need to do some work on this. First you have to convert alkene. For example, propene is there. Left side we are taking, this is propene. So to propene we have to convert into vicinal dihalide first. Then for that purpose we have to add bromine. So addition of bromine is taking place, addition reaction. Then it gives 1,2-dibromopropane. So once dibromopropane is formed, now we use this concept to with the previous synthesis method. So to remove of HX by using potassium hydroxide and sodamide. If you use two bases, then what happens? HX, HBr is removed, and triple bond is formed. That is how we get propane. So altogether, the simple way of preparing alkene from alkene to alkyne. Use first halogenation, then we get vicinal dihalide. After that, alcoholic OH and sodamide. The example we can see on the screen. How to prepare alkyne from alkene? This is another way of asking questions. For example, same case, if you are given with propane, then how to prepare propine? Simply we can try like this, as shown on the screen. First bromination, that gives 1 bromo or 2 bromo. What we expect generally 2 bromo. 2 bromo alkane is the common one. So here it is 2 bromo propane. Then what happens? We have to convert this into alkyne. So that is alkene first. Then by using alcoholic potassium hydroxide, HBr is removed. Then we got alkene. Then once we get alkene, already the last example we have seen, bromination first. Then we get 1,2-dibromoalkane. After that, direct potassium hydroxide and sodamide will give you alkyne, directly propine. Looks like lengthy process, but simple way of, already all the reactions we know this. This is in alkanes we know halogenation of alkanes, we know this reaction. After this preparation of alkenes from alkyl halides by using alkylic potassium hydroxide, this now we already know this reaction. And this is bromination of alkenes. Already we know the properties of chemical properties of alkenes. 1,2-dibromo. After that, this is the preparation method of alkynes by using 1,2-dibromo alkane. This is second method of preparing alkynes. Here already we take alkyne, but we extend the carbon number. That means we introduce some more alkyl groups into the chain. This is the second method. For that we take sodium acetylades, for example, sodium acetylide, and to this we add RX, that is alkyl halide, where alkyl group is attached to sodium place, that is just to this carbon. This R group comes and attaches here. So alkyl halide is taken and sodium acetylides are taken. Simply sodium halide is removed and R group attaches to carbon. So this is how RC triple bond CR dash. So this is how we get some new alkyne by using already one alkyne. The best example you can see here, lithium stellite it is. To this ethyl bromide is added. Then what happened? This lithium bromide is removed and ethyl is attached on one side. So this is methyl ethyl acetylene, or we can call it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 2-pentyne. This product is 2-pentyne. In particular, this reaction here it is the important point is that alkyl halide uh, must be primary. That is, it is like methyl or ethyl something for to become a SN2 mechanism. If it is a tertiary type of reaction, then the reaction will be something different, which will not be as usual as we expected. Here in this particular case, you can see uh, this tertiary alkyl halide. Then simply a proton is removed and attached to the carbon C minus, so that we won't get any substituted alkyne, but simply alkyne is converted. That is sodium alkyne alkylide is converted into alkyne, and the tertiary alkyl halide is converted to alkene by loss of HX. Alkynes are acids, yes, and base character is of course not there. They react with metals, of course. Oxidation is possible. Reduction is possible. Halogens can easily attack on this alkyne. Now let us take some reactions of alkynes, like addition of H2 molecule, addition of H2 molecule, addition of HX, addition of H2O, and how it behaves as acid, and how it reacts with silver plus, that is Collins reagent, and oxidation process. Basically, what type of reactions we are expecting here? Addition, addition, addition. It's clearly mentioned. Why? The reason is simple. Alkanes are having triple bonds. That's why they are called unsaturated molecules. So since they are unsaturated molecules, they easily undergo addition type reactions. So let us take up this addition type reactions. A simple way of addition of H2 molecule. Addition of H2 molecule is called reduction. What happens when a triple bond is added H2? It is first converted into double bond. Then if you add further H2, then it is converted into single bond. That is, alkyne by addition of H2 is converted into alkene first, then it is converted into alkane. So we can run this process directly or indirectly. First case, let us take a direct method so that alkane is directly converted into alkane, not stopping at alkene stage. For that we need a strong reagent where two molecules of H2 added to alkyne so that alkane is converted. Here look at this. Ranitidine is the reagent catalyst. So a metal surface is used. On metal surface, H2 molecule is added to alkyne. Since a metal surface, the H2 that is attached to the metal surface, and when acetylene is passed through metal, These H2 molecules are added from bottom side. So one hydrogen on this side, another hydrogen on this side. Then alkene is formed. Further another hydrogen and another hydrogen added continuously. So that alkane is converted directly. So alkyne is converted to alkane in presence of Raney nickel or any metal nickel and H2 molecule. So this is what we do. The catalyst can be a platinum, a nickel or palladium, any catalyst where H2 is attached. This is how it first attaches to a metal surface. After that it attaches to the alkyne. So this is direct hydrogenation and the conversion of alkyne into alkane. So no middle step. Yeah, see this. This is the second case where we are trying to convert alkyne into alkene. So this point you have to understand very clearly. The previous example, when you use metals and had H2 molecule, then we are converting alkyne into alkane. Alkanes are the end products. But we want alkenes, not alkane. Then for that we need some special reagent so that reaction stops at alkene stage. It will not further continue. Yes, in that case we are having two separate reagents here. One is sodium in liquid ammonia. This is the first reagent. First reagent is sodium in liquid ammonia. And another is Lindlar's catalyst, that is H2 palladium and carbon with barium sulfate. So this sodium in the liquid ammonia is a simple reagent. This is a metallic ammonical solution. Here, whatever the hydrogen is added, two hydrogens, the reaction is uh, stopped at alkene stage, and two hydrogens are adding on opposite to each other. This is called anti-addition. This is possible by using a metal in liquid ammonia. So anti-alkene is formed, which is called trans type alkene is formed. And the same alkene is also formed, but in cis type when we use another catalyst called Lindlar's catalyst, where we use H2 and palladium carbon barium sulfate. So hydrogen is used along with palladium carbon as the metallic surface and barium sulfate as the reagent. And in such cases, hydrogen is attached from bottom side and the reaction stops after addition of one molecule. So here alkene is formed. A syn, that is cis type alkene is formed. So the point we have to understand is alkenes are generated by using special catalysts, special reagents, that is sodium or any metal with liquid ammonia, and another is H2 palladium carbon or barium sulfate. And in the first case, it is the anti type of addition, that is trans type molecule product is formed, and in the latter case, it is the cis or syn type alkene is formed. So these are the two important things. Butane, for example. If we use sodium liquid ammonia, then we get trans 2-butene. So this is the beauty of this reaction. And if you take H2 palladium carbon barium sulfate, then we get cis-2-butene. So this is the specialty of these two reagents. That's why both are important to understand, and you should remember this. To get trans 2-butene or cis-2-butene. Then addition of X2, that is halogen. What happens here? X2 halogen can be added to alkyne. Then steps we know. First two molecules, that is one molecule is added, that is one halogen, another halogen, and this is a trans type addition. We know already this because first halogen is when at one halogen is added, it will form a what a cyclic halonium ion. After that, another halogen is added from bottom side. So it is a trans type addition. And another H2 molecule can be added further to this 1,2-dihalo compound. That is 1 1. Two halogens are on the 1 carbon, another two halogens are on the second carbon. So it is almost called 1 1 comma 2 2 tetrahalo compound. For example, let us see this example. Propane is there. When bromine is added, what happens? At the end, here two bromides and the two bromides. This is 1 comma 1 2 comma 2. So 1 1 2 2 tetrabromopropane. That is the name of the molecule. We can also see addition of hydrogen halide. How this reaction proceeds? Addition of hydrogen halide. This is a simple reaction. Instead of X2, in the previous example we have added two halogens. Now we are adding one halogen, another is hydrogen. Then what happens? Yeah, the reaction proceeds like this. It is a trans type addition, HX. And when a second HX is added, then the point what you have to understand is it is added to the same type, that is X is added to same carbon where another X is added already. So both hydrogens are added to the same carbon, two halogens are added to the same carbon. Then what happens? Here we see 1 comma 1 dihalo compound. It's not 1 2, it's 1 1. For example, if you take this is the propane, and HCl is added, then at second position chloride is added, and when HCl is added further, again also to second position chloride is added. Why? The reason. What is the reason? The reason is very simple. It is following Markovnikov rule. Already we know that Markovnikov rule states that most stable carbonium ion is formed. For that, most stable carbonium is formed only when hydrogen attaches to more the carbon where more number of hydrogens are already present. So this is Markovnikov rule. So according to this rule, here in particular one propane, if you take, it gives 2 comma 2 dichloropropane. 2 comma 2 dichloropropane is the product. This is one important reaction that we have to understand. Addition of water, hydration. Alkynes, when added with water, some interesting reaction is going on. It is taking place in terms of any acid or mercury oxide. What happens here? Only one molecule of H2 is added. In alkane, we have C triple bond C. So H2, when H2 is added, at one carbon hydrogen is added, another carbon is having OH group. So this is how one hydrogen is added to one carbon, another carbon is having OH group. Then double bond is there. So this is a structure already we know this. This is in, this is O, this is enol. That's why the name is enol. So one molecule when added to alkyne, we get enol. Once enol is formed, no second molecule is possible to add. Why? Because it will undergo some change. What is the change here? This undergoes tautomeric change. This is keto-enol tautomerism is possible here. This enol, the proton is what converted or shifted from here to this carbon. So the double bond shifts here. Double bond is shifting here, proton is shifting to this place. So this becomes CH2 and this becomes C double bond O. This is called keto. So enol is converted into keto group. That is the reason why only one H2O molecule is added to alkyne and the reaction stops, because it will change its form from enol to keto form. So once keto is formed, no H2O molecule further ready to add it here, because keto is a stable molecule. It doesn't undergo any kind of addition type reaction with water. So this is called keto-enol tautomerism. And again here also Markovnikov rule is applied whenever we have doubt where to add OH group and where to add H group. So OH group added to the same where the stability of the carbocation is available. And end product is ketones. Product is keto, not enol. So addition of water gives formation of ketones or aldehydes. This is another example. Here you can see the 1-butane. Then addition of water with H mercury oxide or any proton, then it will give you OH group comes to the second carbon. Here OH group comes. Therefore, here itself it becomes CO, carbonyl. Therefore, it is 2-butanone is the product. 2-butanone. 1-butane gives 2-butanone by addition of water. Now, important thing, already we had a discussion on this. This is acidic nature of alkynes. Alkynes behave as weak acids. The reason it is possible to behave as weak acids only when it is a terminal alkyne, not others. Because of whenever it is a terminal alkyne, it has one proton or one hydrogen there, and because of the sp character, it becomes more electronegative. That's why it attracts electron pair to the carbon, so that this hydrogen becomes acidic in nature. That is, it can be easily removed. Therefore, by using any metal like sodium, this hydrogen is removed. Therefore, we get sodium metallide, which is nothing but sodium halides or any alkalides. And this behavior shows that uh, alkynes, terminal alkynes, behave like weak acids. Or we can use any base there to prove that it is a acid. Of course, we can compare the acidic strength, but which is not necessary, compulsory. Again, only terminal alkynes react with silver nitrate to generate silver halides, because same nature, just like sodium. Here, silver plus ion can attach to the terminal alkyne where proton is removed. So this is all possible only whenever there is a removal of proton. The same test if you do for two alkyne, then can you expect this reaction? Definitely not, because this triple bond C, triply bonded carbons are not having any hydrogen attached to them. That's why silver nitrate cannot react. Here it is having triply bonded carbon is having hydrogen. So it is necessary that it must be carrying hydrogen, which is possible only when it is the terminal position. So no terminal, no reaction. So formation of a precipitate is a test for terminal alkynes. If precipitate is there, it is a terminal. If there is no precipitate, then we can easily say that it is not a terminal alkyne. Oxidation process also there, where we can have oxidation with different conditions, like potassium permanganate with hot condition, cold condition, and ozonolysis. After ozonolysis, zinc is used to reduce further zinc and water. So in each and every case, wherever there is a triple bond, that three OH molecules are converted into OH, OH, OH. Wherever the triple bond, three bonds means three OH groups, and three OH groups will give you COH group. That is carboxylic acid is formed. So wherever triple bond is there, this carbon is becoming a COH group, and that the other carbon also becoming COH group. So we expect two carboxylic acids whenever oxidation process is undergoing by using potassium permanganate or ozonolysis, ozone and followed by zinc and water molecule. So we will get ozonide, malvozonide, ozonide. After that, carboxylic acid is formed. So we can just see what different reactions follow here. What happens when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? This is 2-pentyne, this is propyne, this is 2-butene. In particular case, what happens? The products, can we expect? Yeah, you see this. So in the first case, the product is this carbon, that is CS3, 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 CS2, COOH. That is 1, 2, 3. So propanoic acid. And this is CS3, COOH. 1, 2, ethanoic acid, acetic acid. In second case, yes, what is the product? CS3, COOH, acetic acid on the left side and right side, carbon dioxide. Because it is already CH group, therefore converted carbon dioxide. And in third case, it is a symmetric. Since it is a symmetric, CS3, C triple one, C, CS. So on both sides, we get same product, that is CSCOH. So two molecules of acetic acid is formed by, by the method of ozonolysis. By using ozonolysis process, we get only one because it is a symmetric alkyne. That's why we get acetic acid. So this is what we have covered in this lesson, alkynes. So we have covered what are alkynes, what is the general formula, and what are the method to give names to alkynes. After that, we have covered the synthesis of alkynes by the method dehydrohalogenation of vicinal dihalides, and after that, a coupling of metal acetylates with alkyl halides, specifically primary alkyl halides, so that extension of alkyl halides is we can explain. And after that, we have discussed the reactions of alkynes, that is addition type reactions with hydrogen molecule, and how to convert alkyne into alkanes, and also how to convert alkyne into alkenes. And we have also discussed the addition of H2, that is halogen, and addition of HX, halides, and the most important is addition of water molecule, because addition of water molecule is only one molecule is added, it will not accept second molecule, because the reason is after addition of one molecule of water we get all ketones as a redox or aldehydes as the end product. And how alkynes behave acids, we already discussed. Only terminal alkynes behave like weak acids because of the sp nature of carbon. And then reaction with silver ion, and after that oxidation process, wherever the triple bond is there, it is broken into two parts, and each carbon becomes COH, carboxylic acids are generated. So this is the end of alkynes. Thank you.